Hello, it's Howard Brown. It's the Shining Brightly podcast show. Oh my God. I have such an amazing person. Laura Ballet, how are you?
I am fabulous. How are you?
Good.
Whoops.
I'm great. And I should say Laura Brennan Ballet.
That's
So
a
we give reference to your family name, of course, as well.
yeah.
I want to tell you, I met Laura, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, and we are part of this little club, okay, called the Diamond Moments. And Sinette, we're going to shout out Sinette Van Breda. Whoop, 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 whoop. She's beautiful, our beautiful moi, right?
Moi.
And then also we are part of the Soul Authors Journey. And we actually had a weekly show where we talk about what it is to be an author before, during, and after. And shout out to Buddy Thornton and Randy Blake and Krista Rose, right? And these are our peeps, and we are having such a blast doing that. So it's been incredible. And we've gotten to know each other, and we spotlight our books and other author books, and we become a panel and we comment on the what is behind the book, what is the message, how and it's really cool. I'm enjoying that. I know you are too.
Yeah, I love it. We get to see the inside of the mind of an author and the process of sharing our writing. So it's been quite a journey. I can't wait till we restart.
Yeah, I think we're starting up back up in June, so
Yes.
I'm excited about that. And we're both part of the you're part of the Diamond Beauties, and I'm part of the Tanzanite Heroes, and it's just been a fabulous. This is collaboration at its best. It's so fun. We're having a great time. Let me tell you a little bit more about Laura Brennan Ballet. Um, she's a global ambassador for life transformational empowerment and human awareness. Laura's skill set is gathered wisdom and personal discipline to advance human potential, and it's evident in her creative work. The care, consideration, and genuine thoughtfulness of supporting and exploring empowered life, both personal and professional, is really impactful for individuals. It's life advancing. It helps our clients, attendees, listeners around the globe actually strive, get better, bring joy to their life. It's amazing. I love it. She loves co-creating with individuals who are willing to grow their past, their present mindsets, and not repeat negative patterns and outdated habits, and are in for a 360 view on how to create and sustain happiness and well-being. It's incredible. It's great. So now that we shared a little bit about you and your bio, tell us something that we may not know about you that you want to share.
Yeah, I love this question because something just recently happened to me that no one knows really yet, except for my husband and myself, and maybe my family, my close family. We were recently in Costa Rica. I was speaking at an event, and we decided to go hang out in the jungle and do some zip lining experience. Well, we did the Superman zip line, which, if anyone has ever experienced this, they bring you to the highest point that you humanly have ever experienced. They lay you on a table and you are strapped in like the Superman position, pretty much with like a toggle here and a toggle there, and they pull you back and off you go. Now, 1,500 feet up in the air, that's 80 stories high. You are floating like a bug. No problem. I've got it right. Super empowered. I'm strong. All of a sudden, I see my husband fly by, and I notice I'm slowing down. And they even put weights on me. I'm kind of a little petite thing. I actually stopped in the middle of the air, and I was swaying like a bug. I had no idea how they were going to get me. And Howard, for the first time, probably in my entire adult awareness, I had a brief moment of, I think I'm scared. And I don't ever get scared. I just don't, because I don't have anything around my life that would cause that emotion. And as I was blowing in the breeze, hanging on by just these two metal mechanisms, I was like, wow, this is what a lot of people really feel sometimes on a daily basis. And now that I am up here experiencing this very real sensation in my body and this emotion and the thought energy attached to it, I started really working this particular J3 equals E formula to get myself calm so that I could bring back a fresh new perspective of what it is to empower oneself when we are in a bit of a challenging predicament. And long story short, eventually they figured out how to throw this magnetic rope, and it caught onto part of the mechanism, and they had to physically rope me into the platform. Yep.
And so your husband's whizzing by because he weighs more, but I'm
Yep.
thinking of Super Lord. But
That's what it was.
you're stopped there, and it gave you a moment of deep introspection and contemplation. But
In the middle
they
of the
rescued you.
sky.
But they
Yes.
rescued you. They rescued you. They pulled you
Yes.
through and all that. Oh my God! Thank you
Yes.
for sharing that.
Yes.
Wow. Oh my God. All right, let's regroup. So give me a little more background. So how did Laura get, to this space now? So share a little background more.
Yeah, so I think I came into this world with some knowledge and wisdom and really a high level of energy that was already locked into my personality or my consciousness, my spirit. And it's just always been knocking at my door. And when I was 14, I went to my mom and told her, one day I'm going to write a book and I'm going to change the world. All right, great. So many of us have that statement, right? We share all of this um, excitement and this desire and these big dreams. But of course, my mom was like, beautiful, great. Why are you waiting till somewhere down the road? Life got in the way. And recently, I kept getting all of these universal messages, just synchronicities that were coming out of nowhere, right? Which is what a synchronicity does. The book, the book, the book. Everywhere I would go, as I started traveling a lot more with my husband, I would start talking, and someone would say, you need to write a book. Why aren't you coaching? Are you speaking anywhere? All of this reflection. So finally, I just said, you know what? I need to sit down and write a book. And very cool backstory also is my brother, Chris Brennan, and I always give a heartfelt shout out to him. He is the creator of the J3 equals E formula. This really was the spark that created the science of empowerment. So there's this beautiful sibling, co-collaborative, creative experience that we went through. And I started writing the book, and 5 years later, it came out, and here we are.
I know. And you're now, you motivate, educate, and inspire. We do this together. You lift up others. You mentioned the formula, the J3E formula. People are going to be curious. I know they can get the book, but give them a teeny bit of what the formula is.
Yeah, I love this. I talk about this everywhere. It's really now I firmly believe we have this knowledge and information in our DNA. We all do. It's just how do we awaken to it, or how do we come upon it? Or certainly someone like you that went through such a challenge, that resilience, that beauty, that empowerment that came out of you through this challenge and what you have gifted out into the world. So part of the J3 equals E, it's 5 principles. It's awareness to 3 fields of quantum energies. And when you apply these principles, when you move yourself into the power seat of choice, you now begin to create an empowered life. So the J stands for Jekyll. That is the beginning of an acronym that really represents 4 of the people closest to my brother, JEKL. I'm the L in there. The 3 is negative, positive, neutral. Which energy are you? Which energy are you contributing to each and every interaction and experience? And when you position yourself in that power seat of choice and you choose neutrality, you now are able to empower a more positive experience for you and others. And this begins to really create and cultivate and sustain an empowered life.
It's thank you for explaining that for those that are listening or watching. But you get the book and it dives into it deeply. So we'll talk about that. So you referenced me. Listen, I've had an incredible life journey, but twice in my life I've been stopped dead in my tracks by stage 4 cancer diagnosis, where the outcomes were not known. Nothing was guaranteed. And I call that my walk in darkness. And I've had other walks in darkness too, but those were pretty deep. And I've had to learn from that. And I also use the metaphor of light, of using my light to help me understand and learn from it. and also be able to then lift up others. So
Mm,
you speak in your book and on your talks and your coaching about healing past patterns in order
mm.
to create the empowered life. Touch on that for us.
Yeah, I think this is such a key to really cracking the code to living an empowered life. We have become so accustomed to befriending these patterns, these outdated and unnecessary ways of being in our life, whether they're habits, behaviors, patterns, stories, thought processes. And what they do is they hold us in this vibration of an energy that does not really expand what could be, the possibilities, the natural organic expansion of filling out our human potential abilities. So outdated patterns are something I address on the upfront of most conversations. And I really challenge my clients and the people who are listening and the readership around the world to suspend those outdated patterns and begin to become self-actualized and think as if you already are connected to an empowered life. Now, look at those patterns and how are they serving you in your present and future growth? And most people immediately realize they're not serving me at all. They serve me to stay connected to the past, not be present, and certainly not tune into my potential and the ability of what's in my future.
A part of this empowerment is that you can become an architect, a builder of higher thinking, right? Is that
Yeah.
how we go through it, and that's the discipline?
Yeah. Use the ability of this brilliant mind to connect to that part. And however you want to word it, it could be soul connection, spiritual connection, certainly God energy, right? When we connect with God in our faith, we all have different ways of arriving to this. But if you think about an architect and they have these beautiful tables and they have all of these measurements, right? These tools of measuring and engineering and creating these visuals in the process of designing something new. And so I challenge again, people who listen, become the architect, the designer, the engineer of what an empowered life can be for you and everyone you come in contact with.
As you heard me say before, it can be done, right? We all get
Absolutely.
knocked down in life and in business and in health, me specifically, and in relationships, but we can get back up again. And I have to tell you, so you call it an architect, I call myself Humpty Dumpty, right? I need to put myself back together again, emotionally, physically, financially, meaning career or finance or money. And then the hardest one's always relationships. I will tell you,
Always. They're
always the hardest one.
Well, they're the biggest reflective mechanism we have that's built into the human condition. No matter if it's your partner, it's your children, it's people that we worship with, it's the people you deal with at school, your work environment. Other human beings carry frequency that either matches, resonates, aligns, or disrupts our own vibration or our own thought process, i.e., our personalities. And how can we use that reflection to grow, right? To evolve and again, to inspire and create a level of empowerment. So when we leave one another, we feel better, we feel transformed. And yes, we can live like this all day long.
So I have to tell you, I'm fairly new to energy and vibrations, and some of our audience listening and watching might be as well. So maybe you can share, why is energy, an important aspect of this self growth and self evolution?
Yeah, we seem to forget that we are energy in motion. Energy is in everything, even the desk that we're sitting on, or the chair, the studio, the microphone, everything is energy. It's either free flowing and expressive and expansive, or it's condensed. We are energy beings. Our thought has energy. Our biology has energy. Our heart, oh my God, the energy that's in our heart center, right? That consciousness, spirit, that God connection, all of this is energy. So when we tap in to knowing that there's negative and positive energies, atoms, ions, etc. And what we did with the formula is we positioned neutrality right in there, because many of us can't go from negative energy, unhappiness or disempowerment or unhealthy patterns, bad behavior. We cannot recalibrate that right into positive behavior and patterns immediately. This is the beauty and the power of neutrality. It's really become my superpower now. It's what I rely on all the time. It is to give us the resting ridge of understanding we are energy in motion. We can choose to be negative or positive. And we do this through the awareness of neutralizing negative energy and having fun and getting excited about creating more positive experiences.
Sound like Dr. Laura to me. That's incredible.
Thank-
You also referenced something there. I heard thought energy, but written energy.
Yeah.
What is written energy?
Oh, I love this. And I've talked to a few people that are much more advanced and beautiful and empowered than I am. And when they've read the book, they have referenced that when they're reading the words, they actually have physical sensation or internal movement, something they quite can't put their finger on, which is just energy being sparked. It's something in us that maybe was lying dormant or we haven't quite awakened to, or we've never even thought about. So written energy. So when someone reads Shining Brightly, when someone reads The Science of Empowerment, and you read it with the mindset of energy structured around the words, the sentences, the verses, now how does that come across to you? How is it leaping off the page and settling into your very being? And when we look at written energy from that perspective, it now elevates thought energy. So we actually aren't just taking in information, we're learning how to apply new knowledge to create a better life.
I agree with you, because if you read something and then it makes you laugh or it makes you cry or it makes you take a call to action, it's powerful. It's
Yeah.
really powerful. Thank you for sharing that. It's really amazing. And so transformation, it's not easy. Sometimes it's also a longer term process. Like I always say, if you're trying to lose, 75 pounds, you're not doing that in 2 days, right? You have to have a plan. And so how do people transform, and get unstuck? How do they transform, everyday experiences and accelerate, their advancement?
Yeah, this is the beauty and the power of why I love this formula. When you run through, move through, and ask yourself the five principles, every time you're up against a challenge, first people may say, oh my God, if I have to think about, awareness or willingness or critical thinking all the time, how am I going to transform? However, what I challenge them is to realize you think about something anyways, but it's a pattern. It's a set way of being. It's in relation to a stagnated mindset or just an outplay of an algorithm that's already been implanted right inside the brain. We become what we see, what we hear, what we eat, what we feel. So now when you move through the formula, you wake up and you wake up in a bad mood, had a bad dream, or you had a fight, or there's some challenge. What am I aware of in the moment? I'm not happy. What am I willing to do? Neutralize it. What am I accountable to? My feelings only. Critical thinking, fourth principle, very strong supportive principle here. We remove the emotionality at the moment of awareness. This doesn't mean we don't feel, it means we are less reactive to the pattern because we're now, as the architect, redesigning a new thought process around a life we would rather strive for than settle for. Fifth principle, energy, negative, positive, neutral. I've just neutralized right there within 12 seconds how I woke up. because I am aware that I do not want to be in a bad mood today. I am willing to be accountable to how I'm thinking about the energy that I am experiencing, therefore contributing to the world. So I think when we move through this formula on a daily basis, consistent basis, the mind starts to align with the potential rather than the pattern. And this is how transformation shows up.
And we are so aligned because I break it down. You know, are you being authentic, your authentic self? Are you being intentional? Are you being held accountable, which we all do to each other? I love our group for that. Do you have the discipline? Do you have the resistance? And don't lose hope, because sometimes it's two steps back before you go two steps forward. It's a really, really beautiful thing. And I just think that you're, as I even said in one of my comments when we actually spotlighted your book, that you're not leaving a legacy, you're living your legacy every day, and it's beautiful, and it's just I love it. So we're at the time of the show where we get to put on our glasses, and the reason we do that, please put your glasses on,
Here we
is that
go.
I want to shine the shining brightly spotlight on you, Laura Brennan Ballet. So I want you to tell people how to get in touch with you. I want you to, you have some potential giveaways of your book even, and for some comments and things like that. And then leave me with some inspiration so we can close out this show.
Yeah, of course, www.thescienceofempowerment.com. I actually have a YouTube channel I just started where I will be recording 2 podcasts weekly, and it's going to be Elevate in 20, less than 20 minutes of a masterclass of empowerment. Tap right into that. Amazon, the book, there's social media everywhere. Just come join in the life experience with me. However we can connect, I answer all emails, all comments. My book readership has turned into my coaching clients, speaking engagements. So I'm just open for creative collaboration and where I personally may collaborate to empower others. And I would say, really, to leave the listeners with, you are energy in motion. And don't forget that. And always remember that you are in the power seat of choice. Choose positive energy and really shine that brightly on everyone you come into contact with.
Wow. And I'll just add, thank you for that. Oh my God. And you've incorporated shining brightly there. I'm going to take off my glasses. Is that so? Laura is willing, okay, for folks to, if they actually comment on the post and provide some inspiration or some transformation, she's going to select, once these things go out onto social media, one person to receive a copy of her book. And so we'll work on that together. It's an ebook download, and it's beautiful. What a nice gift for that. And I want to tell you that Laura is an incredible speaker for your corporate or your nonprofit audience. And your coaching is amazing. You actually do something that I love, is that you lift people up, and they need that today. We need that more than ever. We need that inspiration as well. So you've been listening or watching to the Shining Brightly Show, and you can reach me at shiningbrightly.com. You can learn about the book. It's certainly on Amazon. Also, hire me to speak and shine at your event or facilitate one of your corporate events or nonprofit events or even a fundraiser. And this podcast is distributed on 24 different channels on syndication, so it's widely available: Apple, Spotify, all the best things like that. But more importantly, you can find about my advocacy at shiningbrightly.com and what I care about. And I care about survivorship, and I care about the cancer world and the entrepreneurship world and the interfaith world. And those are the things that actually define you and make you a whole person and give you a broad, well life. And so I want to give thanks to the people that got me here, my publishing house, Front Edge Publishing. I also want to thank Read the Spirit magazine. I blog in that magazine at least a couple times a month, and it reaches 50, 60,000 people. And also my podcast finishing house is Amplify You, and they make me great. Every week they provide a great show for me. So thank you for that. And just remember, if we choose, okay, to shine brightly a little bit each day for ourselves, got to take care of home at first and yourself, and we choose to shine brightly for others by lifting them up, in our communities, in our neighborhoods, the world will become a better place. Laura Brennan Ballet, you've been an outstanding high energy guest. I loved our show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And we'll give a big mwah, right? A big mwah
Yep.
to Sanette as well. Thank you again.
Thank you.